Howdy, boys.
Howdy.
Hello.
Lots to talk about. Lots been happening. How about we sort of start wide and we'll get into what we're all individually doing in the space and how we're sort of perceiving the good and the bad at the moment. The main news for me since we spoke last was obviously the delay in these ETF applications. Obviously, BlackRock's being the biggest. I think we saw a massive move in the price, which we can get to later with you, Baloo. And then obviously when the thing was delayed, back it came.
It's back.
What I've found fascinating is sort of doing a deeper dive into who BlackRock are. They're probably the biggest player that's applied for a spot ETF for Bitcoin, along with many others. If BlackRock was a country, they'd be the third biggest in the world as far as the value of GDP or that institution goes. So here you go, there's a chart sort of looking at their investment in the mining space and that of other major institutions. And as you can see, it's hugely significant.
Something significant?
Delving into this, Bitcoin and crypto obviously is really becoming a geopolitical asset now. We've had the G20 meeting just wrap up in India over the weekend. Not a huge amount to really report on that other than to say that the consensus is that they're not looking to ban crypto, but they've all agreed to talk about how to regulate it. So I suppose you could take that as a big positive. The 20 biggest economic nations in the world have agreed not to ban crypto. So that's a positive for us.
That's a positive.
Off the back of that, this is why Bitcoin's so important. It's hard money, 21 million. You control it. It's actually yours. I came across this hilarious clip.
When you withdraw cash in Australia, the banks want to know why, so let's go tell them the truth.
How much?
Around 6,000.
What is it for?
My missus thinks I cheated on her last week. She's doing my head in, so I need to give her some cash and a necklace. She doesn't like flowers, she just likes designer handbags and shit.
Sorry, dear.
No worries. I don't know why it's important for the bank to know. It's money.
I have to ask.
I've got to go to a beauty salon to bleach my arsehole.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a bleaching package, and yeah, they said you can make it up to 3 shades lighter. Drugs,
Well,
the devil's lettuce, you would know.
That's what you want me to put John Bernard?
I don't deal it personally. I just connect people together.
Whatever you do, it's your business.
What's the money for?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
We need to ask customer why.
I need it for steroids. Summer's coming up, Stereosonic festivals.
Understand.
I need a shred for summer. I mean, if you must know, I'm transitioning to be a woman, so I have to pay for the surgery. It's an expensive surgery.
What you've got to understand is that if you own some Bitcoin, you've stored it properly, it's actually yours. Nobody can take it off you. The money that you put into a bank is not yours. It's an IOU. That money is then lent out. That's what fractional reserve banking is. It's why everyone's in debt. That's why the world looks like it does right now. So if there's one thing I want you to learn today, money in the bank ain't your money. Bitcoin is.
Power of financial freedom.
I found it really interesting the other day to read the Russian military commander that was assassinated. They're talking in terms of him being the 5th biggest Bitcoin wallet in the world. That would tie into an increase in hash rate in Russia, I suppose, as well, to a certain degree.
Bitcoin is a truly neutral currency. Nobody has sway, nobody has influence. The only place where you can have some sort of bargaining chip on a geopolitical stage is if you own a large share of the hash power. You can slow down the chain by shutting your machines off and, delay transactions for weeks until the difficulty adjusts to the new hash rate. But there's really not a lot of power that you can have over holding the asset of Bitcoin. But there are some strategic things that you can do if you hold the hash rate of Bitcoin. So I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of the institutions are very interested in getting their hands on the actual hash rate of the network and controlling the actual network itself.
Interesting.
Jesse, as our resident American, what can you maybe sort of bring us up to speed on? Who's in the presidential race? We've got Brian Armstrong saying candidates shouldn't underestimate how many people hold crypto and therefore the voting power of that community. Do you think it's going to play a major role?
It does seem to me that a lot of the opposition of the current party tend to lean into crypto a bit. Well, you have RFK for the Democratic Party, but it just feels like RFK is not on the same party as Biden, but apparently he is. But anyways, he's pro-crypto. DeSantis pro-crypto. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone under the age of 249 would be pro-crypto. But we still have to worry about that one guy who's just pushing 250. it does seem to me that there's a encouraging amount of people, whether it be runner-ups or senators or people in Congress. It seems like the numbers have greatly increased since all of this started, where where almost everyone was like, it's a scam. It seemed like they were all on the same page almost, except for like one kooky libertarian, which I would probably vote for,
He had no idea what a libertarian is.
When you think in terms of the International Bank of Settlements, and don't underestimate how powerful that organization is. They're the ones that central banks work with. This is the absolute top of the tree. Currently, they're allowing 2% of volume through their function in the global economy, which is crucial to be in crypto. That combined with what we've just heard out of Visa in the last couple of days, that they're supporting USDC payments. These are major shifts in the landscape of the crypto industry. So while what we're seeing out of the G20, we're not going to ban crypto, but got to be regulated. At least now you've got governments really starting to talk together about the fact that this isn't going away. A good time to remind everyone the difference between Bitcoin and pretty much everything else.
Well, there's two major considerations that come along with what makes Bitcoin different. The first is proof of work. Most cryptocurrencies are proof of stake or not even proof of stake, and they just exist as a way to, scam people and trade digital playing cards that exist on other blockchains like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Matic, and others. But proof of work is a profound consensus mechanism because it keeps the network honest, it keeps the network fair, it keeps investment going into the space. It physically, takes physical forces of energy and converts them into digital units of account. I think that's something that not a lot of people realize, that how important that is. And proof of work is just superior and fair. Anyways, I'm not going to start a debate. People certainly disagree with me on that. But another key difference with Bitcoin is its immaculate conception. There's no VCs. There's no investors. It was just released into the wild, and there's not a single crypto out there that can claim that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the majority of what you've said there. I think the other key point for people to understand is, this concept of hard money. As we've seen, we've had a huge amount of money printing. Bizarrely, there's a lot of analysts at the moment talking in terms of we're going to need more liquidity, more M2, more global money supply to see another real bull run. So that's sort of counterintuitive when you think about it. But, that concept of hard money, that you own a limited asset, I think is a really key point people need to start understanding. With Jesse and I have been doing this for years, talking to we're blue in the face on that one, but people still aren't really wrapping their heads around it. Without getting into the technicalities, people, money effectively, the US dollar used to be backed by gold. When that was removed, you can argue whether it was the 30s or the early 70s. Effectively what happened, the world then got fractional reserve banking, which basically means, guess what? We're all in debt. So instead of you putting it, owning a dollar, you put your dollar in a bank, the bank then lends that out, money supply increases, everyone's in debt, and we find ourselves in the position we're in now. Therefore, I don't think there's any surprise that major financial institutions see the edge of a cliff being a lot closer than most people realize, and are therefore investing in Bitcoin mining, and crypto's narrative is getting a lot more serious.
Good things are coming. Good things.
We can't give anyone financial advice, but maybe a good sort of segue into what we're all sort of buying, selling at the moment, and why. I mean, Jesse, maybe you want to tell us what you've been up to.
As you know, I've been immersed in Gala, what Gala's been up to. God, well, I guess it really started when they had Townstar, which Sean, you may recall back when we were in the same house, it was just like, Sim City or something. It's like, we were in the height of a bull market, and actually playing Townstar was, for like 20 minutes a day was making me like $70 a day or something. That's something
The
insane.
good old days.
Yeah. Not only was I invested in them a while ago, and it's nice to see the progress that they're making, but some of the games that they're releasing now are full playable games. So I've already talked about how Spider Tanks is really fun, but there's another game called Champions Arena, which it's amazing how much it is similar to Nine Chronicles, the game, and yet blasted past in terms of like the technology of the actual game, the software. It's like Axie Infinity, Nine Chronicles, and like a real like PlayStation game, all mixed into one. And yes, I mean, it's free to play. You can start leveling up your heroes and playing and having fun, but if you're able to spend a little dough in the ecosystem of the game, you can really start to move forward and enjoy it, play with other players, and get there's player versus player, there's player versus computer, then there's like battle arenas for different challenges, then there's quests, then there's raids, there's like all these different things you can do too, and there's a big economy inside the game. There's land estates where like people own castles, and you can join their estate and you get less taxed on your items. It goes real deep, but what I find so interesting is that not only does it go real deep, but it is visually really beautiful, like smooth and animated, and like there's just levels and worlds to it that go beyond. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, every day I'll play it for, like any of these games, I'll play it to complete quests, have a little fun, know that I've earned whatever I can, and then maybe leave it for the day and let heroes do mining and stuff like that. But I've been doing what the way I'm describing that, I've been doing that for a couple of years on a few different Web3 games, but none of them have been real games, really. Yeah. I mean, they've been pretty finance platforms, real fun, cool, pretty finance platforms, but that's it. And then here comes Gala, and this is not a paid sponsorship. I don't work for Gala. I don't get paid by Gala, but it's just, to me, it's pretty shocking where if I were Nine Chronicles, if I were DeFi Kingdoms, which by the way are both doing real well, like DeFi Kingdoms, we can talk about this later. They just got on the crypto version of Shark Tank, which just started recently.
We are selecting the Web 3.0 gaming project, DeFi Kingdoms.
DeFi Kingdoms, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Excited to be a part of the show.
Long story short, DeFi Kingdoms, I'm a big proponent of. It's a Web3 game. It's nowhere near on this level of champion on Gala Games. I've like I said, I'm pretty deep in the gaming space here. Star Atlas is really actually pumping up its releases of these tiers versions of the game. I'm really, really impressed by that as well. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around how the hell, I guess Gala started with massive capital, and they've got a great team. I mean, they've got the Zynga guys. They've been really, I mean, it's their team. They're really bringing guys on that are like ex World of Warcraft developers and people who ran social media sites and all kinds of amazing names. They must have great capital from the start. There's just nothing like it. I'm excited about it because I don't see anything else like it, and I don't understand.
I'm really pleased to hear that. I mean, I know what a devout gamer you are and have always been, and that's always kind of been part of the problem with these crypto games, right? A lot of them have just been a bit dull. People were sitting there in the Philippines for hours. At one point, I think we'd probably had the second biggest guild in Axie. But obviously the tokenomics just fell flat on their face. That combined with the fact that the game wasn't particularly interesting, whether that thing makes a comeback or not, I don't know. Obviously, we will still have hundreds of teams. I hope it does for our community as well. But great to sort of talk to you on the regular about this moving forward, Jesse, because I do think, just as we were kind of first to the punch with Axie, hearing about things that you're really identifying, number one, that are actually enjoyable to play, which we didn't have in the last cycle, But then I think what we really need to look to do together here is actually get into a bit of a deep dive into these projects, just like that TV show is doing. We kind of did it last run with 1 BTC and 32 ETH, but really delving into who the teams are and what the tokenomics are. But I do think some of our content moving forward should really start delving into project reviews of other things. I know, Blue, you're very much a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do think you can add a lot of value here, educating people on what's happening in the ordinal space. There is, for me, massive opportunity if you're getting engaged in this market again now.
If you're dabbling in anything new right now, anything, you have extreme probability to the upside.
There's a lot of rumors flying around as well that there's some pretty interesting things happening with Elon Musk and X and Doge. I think I said it on the last show. For me, that's a bit of a no-brainer to pick up a bit of that, not financial advice, and I haven't actually done that yet. Things are going to heat up. I mean, just maybe sort of rounding things out with our closing comments, guys. For me, it's that middle of next month, which is huge. We saw a massive price movement around the announcement of these ETFs and obviously retracing 24 hours later. So, that's fundamental analysis that I'm sort of bringing to the table here. And middle of October 17th, that's a big day in the future of crypto. I'd say the majority of financial analysts are leaning on the side of an ETF being approved. That should bring a lot of liquidity, a lot of capital into the space. Whether or not it means that the big players win, as they invariably always do, and the little man joins the game too late. So we're doing our best now to sort of try and tell you what is happening big picture, and identifying some of the smaller opportunities out there as well, like Jesse's doing in the gaming space. So look at, that's kind of the main points I wanted to cover today. Blue, you've got anything you want to share with the audience in closing?
Nothing from a project point of view, but I do just want to, echo what you said there, that this is the time to be paying attention. This is where it becomes really, really important for you to be experimenting and, doing research and getting hands-on with stuff.
Yep.
And we're going to do what we can to, help as many people realize what we're trying to do here and where we are in the market cycle. But we do need, your help, the viewer. So if you guys could do us a huge favor, it really does help these videos move. If you could like it, subscribe, turn bell notification on, and comment. I know, you don't have to do everything, but anything helps, because we are trying to get this message out to a lot of people. And the only platform that we have to do so that really has reach is YouTube. So that's it. We can sit here and talk amongst ourselves as much as we want, but if we don't get that message out to a broader audience, we're not going to do what we're trying to do, which is, help people realize where we are in the price cycle, and you're at the right time to be paying attention right now.
Yeah, correct. And just to echo those points, it's great for us to catch up, but I agree. At this point, this is about telling your friends. I don't think, whether the channel is shadow banned or whatever, I don't really want to get into that. But it's difficult for anybody in the space now. So it has to be a word of mouth thing for the foreseeable future. Tell people that you think would benefit from listening to what we have to say. And we do have years of experience. We're not here selling you anything. So please tell your friends. Jesse,
the more you like and subscribe, the more
true.
The closer the bull market gets.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you'll notice that we're one of the few ones that don't have the exact same title and the exact same thumb and the exact same sentiment as the other 30 right above it and the other 30 below it. The sentence that I keep seeing is, do this now or else. Limited time, do this now.
Yeah, or you should be scared.
Or the end is near, or we're all doomed, or I sold all my crypto, and then it's some douchebag who didn't sell all his crypto.
Yeah.
Like, pick wisely what you're taking in, whether it's about crypto or not. Like, choose wisely what you're doom scrolling through and what you're ingesting media wise. It can be either something that changes your life for the better, or really drags you down and gets you stuck without you realizing it.
No, really good point. I mean, it's going to be harder and harder to know what is real, what's a scam, what isn't. So yeah, I totally agree. You know, maybe in the next show we'll talk about it, some of the people that have influenced us and who we actually listen to. That list ain't very big in my world. You know, just remind yourselves who led you down the garden path last time and who didn't. And some of these guys are still around. It just astounds me. You know, your 10,000X guys at the top of the market, they're still here. People are still watching them. What's the latest on BitBoy? Maybe we can just sort of close out on that. I hear he's got an issue with steroids and diet pills, not meth.
He got kicked off the BitBoy show. He's no longer part of BitBoy.
Don't you think that was probably a really shrewd move on his part? I hear he's living in Dubai now, but if I'm him, I would certainly prefer to be telling the world that I'm not the owner of the company. I'm not the CEO. I just work here. I'm BitBoy. Go sue that guy.
No, his staff fired him. They got rid of him because he's addicted to drugs and prostitutes.
Right.
That old chestnut.
That old chestnut.
Hey, look, one down, 500 to go.
Okay.
500 to go.
Yeah, I don't have any empathy. How's that?
Okay, guys. Look, for the people that are hanging in there and watching, thanks for following us. We are going to look. You know, this show, and I like the content. We're effectively showing up to help each other out here. We're coming at it from different points of view, different levels of knowledge about different areas. So, you know, we're going to be here on hopefully a lot more regularly, and would love you to join us. So see you all next time. Cheers.
Sure.
Have a good one.